I think it's overwhelming for people to start thinking about working out because you don't know, number one, where to start. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to eat. You don't have time to go to the gym. You don't have money to go to the gym. There's like a lot of different blocks that we put in our own way, I think. So for us, what worked in a certain season is different now. You got to be able to adjust. So when we had a newborn baby, a younger baby, I was working out in the basement. We got a bike, which I know you can buy used now, but we got a bike, we got weights, we got resistance bands, and that honestly is enough to be doing something. So she would be napping, I would go down to the gym to work out. So I just think you have to take away all excuses.
Here we are with another episode of Married Making Millions, James and Angela. And the last episode we talked about our crumble journey and kind of like what that did to our physical life, our spiritual life, mental life, our marriage. Angela was getting a little emotional during that one story that she took me into the back hall, and it was not a fun back hall visit.
Wasn't pretty.
Yeah, the hallways are never good visits. The team actually used to be afraid when I would take them to the back hall.
Yeah, because that's where you would fire them.
Yeah, so basically Angela almost fired me from our marriage, which wasn't good. So if you didn't listen to that episode, check that out. It was the one before this one. But today we want to talk about health, and not just physical health, but also some spiritual health, mental health, probably less mental health, because that can be fixed with spiritual health and fitness health. But we'll talk a little bit about those things, what we're seeing in our stores and our teams and in our marriage personally. But again, we want to build success in your business and resilience in your marriage, which is why we're here doing this podcast. So we hope you enjoy it. Share it with some friends, subscribe, and send us your questions. We'll hopefully answer those as we keep cranking.
Yes.
So let's just talk about the physical health piece first. How did we do on that aspect when we first started business and in marriage? Maybe we should go back to the beginning, but be careful what stories you tell. Let's be careful of what stories you tell.
We can be how honest you want to be.
Yeah. But how important, just starting with marriage, because that's where it started for us. We got married and then we got into business. How important is health, fitness, right when you get married or when you're getting married?
Yeah, I think when you get married, you get comfortable.
Comfortable.
It's not a good word. Or just like the changes in life tend to affect your physical life. So for us, we were both fairly fit getting married. Still, I don't know, we were out of college, working hard, whatever, going to the gym,
casually
stuff.
I wasn't dedicated.
And then we moved to Hawaii. We talked about that a little bit in the first episode, but we moved to Hawaii, and James deployed like 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks after being there. And so for me, all of my health, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, kind of went down the tubes. Again, I talked a little bit about like the expectation of getting married and what I was imagining it would be like, and then what it was actually like when we first got married. So for me, I don't even know if I was comfortable right away, but the stress and the life circumstances that I was in.
Right, I wasn't around. I was gone for a month
and
a half.
I kind of entered a state of a little bit of depression, and I gained about 15 pounds. And so when he came home from his deployment, looking a little different than when he left me, which was not pretty on either of our ends. He was in the military, so he was still kind of forced to work out, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. That's not really the military.
But that wasn't pretty. So I would say two different things on that. Your life circumstances are changing drastically, and that affects a lot of different things. And then in some ways you do get comfortable because you're married now, right? So now you don't
I don't have to impress this person
to impress
anymore.
somebody, and you know they're stuck with you no matter what is kind of the mentality, I think. So there's, I don't know, we kind of let ourselves go, if you will.
There was a conversation that happened that was not directly with Angela, but anyways, I learned from that. And those conversations can be very difficult and emotional. But I think from there on out, maybe that's because I scarred you so bad. But we'll leave that story maybe for a Q&A or something. Maybe. Worst stories you could ever tell about your spouse. But I think there's, like you said, there's a comfort piece that I've won the trophy now, or you've won the trophy. And we don't need to keep running after it and chasing it. Is I feel like a lot of people's attitude, mindset, and mentality when you get married is, I captured the gazelle. I captured the prize.
Okay, Proverbs.
Yes.
Or Song of Solomon.
Yeah, whatever. So, I did it. Complete, mission done. Okay, now let's just move on to having our incomes and having kids and all these things. And we're not dating each other anymore. We're not staying physically fit. Because let's be honest, when you're in high school and college and you're not married yet, like, you want to remain as attractive as you possibly can. I don't care what anybody says, and this may be controversial, maybe not. I don't care what anybody says. You first are attracted to your spouse or someone you're dating by the way that they look.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's not, and I love your personality, but it wasn't Angela's personality that attracted me to her.
Yeah.
It was her hot body and her looks. And if your parents are listening, sorry. But that's the truth. Nobody gets into a relationship, oh my gosh, personality is amazing. Like,
yeah,
I
there's
think
a level of
few.
attraction too. There has to be, yeah.
Correct. So why is it that when we get married, we don't continue to have that level of attraction to each other? Is it because we naturally get what we're seeking within a marriage a lot of times, no matter how we look?
Right.
Right?
Right, or they'll love me no matter what, so
right.
There's that.
Because you gave me a ring and you vowed to that.
Right.
So.
But I think there's a level of, like, it's also important that we stay attractive to each other. And as we change and grow over seasons of marriage, it is important that we're attracted. And I think there's a level of pursuit when you're dating. And so I think as a woman, we want to be pursued. We want you to want us. We want to feel wanted. And so when we feel like that then kind of like goes away, maybe, like you said, maybe you're not dating your spouse. Maybe you're not, making sure you're setting that time aside. So then they don't feel pursued.
Right.
Therefore, like, if I'm not being pursued, why do I need to look a certain way? That's not really that important anymore. But I think it goes both ways. If I am dressing up for dates and I'm looking put together and I'm taking care of myself, then maybe you will pursue me. Like, maybe it goes both ways, I think, too.
Yeah. I wonder what the statistic is. We could probably Google this. Maybe not. ChatGPT. But I wonder what the statistic is of men getting comfortable quicker or women getting comfortable quicker.
Oh, yeah.
I would almost say it's men.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's... Oh, you were very quick to judge.
Well, I just... I don't know. Maybe not.
Okay. Well, I think you're probably right. I think it's men that we just get really comfortable because once we've acquired the prize, the wife, it's then, all right, well, now I'm the provider. So I don't necessarily have to be as fit because I'm providing for the family, if you will. And I think that's an easy excuse. I know I made that excuse a lot in Crumble. I didn't hardly worked out. We could talk about that journey. I think we should. But there's that comfort piece, and I totally agree. It's like, hey, we're married. We said our vows. We're not going to get divorced. We're no matter what. And so, 10 pounds here, 15 there. The beer belly here, the beer belly there. Like, it's no big deal. But it is, in my opinion, now that we've been through this, it is a really big deal. But let's talk about some of the factors to that. When you're eating right, when you're exercising regularly, there's so many things inside of your body chemically, and I'm not a chemist or a biologist or anything, so take some of this with a grain of salt, but you're way happier.
Yeah.
You're more positive, especially as a father. You bring in the energy to the family, right? It's those videos that you see, like fathers putting the kids to bed, and it's just craziness, throwing the kids off the walls and in the beds, and then it's mom putting the kids to bed, all quiet and snuggles, but it's that energy that both parents should bring, or both spouses should bring. It's the endorphins that get released. It's that natural high that when you're eating healthy, you're working out regularly, that just brings that energy to the relationship.
Yep.
So I think that's a huge factor of working out, of eating right, of staying healthy, of maintaining a comfortable weight, like a good weight.
Healthy weight.
A healthy weight. And there's so many different ways to figure all that stuff out. But a large part of it comes to do with eating properly and things like that. So that was the beginning of our story. And then I don't remember working out a ton in Hawaii.
No, it was
We've
just
always been semi-athletic, but
our lifestyle too. I think that's a big.
We did a lot of hikes there.
It's not, and I think that maybe is a misconception. We're not talking about like dieting, hardcore exercising. I mean, take those for what it's worth, and if that's your program, great. But we're talking about a lifestyle of health. And so I think we kind of adapted that, like, I would say 80-20 clean foods, right? And we started seeing chiropractors. We started working out somewhat regularly, and we were going for walks at night, and we were going biking on the weekends, and so it was more like we were just aware of what a healthier lifestyle looked like.
We weren't
figuring out that balance.
We weren't sitting on the couch for 4 hours binging Netflix with a bag of potato chips.
Correct.
Right, or a bowl of ice cream.
Right.
Maybe a little ice cream.
Sure.
And a cookie.
I'm sure we did.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely we did.
So
So when we're talking about some of this stuff, I hate the word diet because it's not a diet. It's the way you naturally live. It's your lifestyle. So I think those are some things to really be thinking about. It's like, do you want to live a good, healthy lifestyle, or do you want to be on a diet for your whole life?
Right.
And how many people do we know that have gone through diet after diet after diet after diet, and it never sticks or it never works because your goal or your vision isn't long enough? And our goal and vision, I think you would agree, we've talked about this before, but our goal and vision is so that we can be around when our kids and our grandkids are running around. I don't want to be the grandpa that's pushed around in the wheelchair or on the little walker trying to keep up with my 4-year-old grandson who's playing basketball or baseball or whatever, right? We want to be mobile, healthy. I don't really want to live into my 90s or 100s. That would be kind of old, but we want to be able to do those things, and that's our reason why. But before that, it was each other. Like, each other was our reason why we wanted to stay healthy, have that lifestyle.
Why we decided, And now I think, too, it does affect our business, right? So us being healthy helps the business.
100%.
In what ways would you say that's true?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the beginning. So when we first started Crumble, I was actively working out before we opened the first store. Actively working out. We were in the gym very regularly. We were outside. We had a lake house on the water. We were doing water activities, running, jogging, all that stuff. Then when we opened Crumble, what I kept telling myself, the excuse was I don't have time because I need to be in the store. And I think that was a huge, looking back, it's a huge red flag of like, no, you can't possibly not make time to go be fit. 30 minutes, do a workout, get a sweat going, something like that. Because like I talked about earlier, it brings that positive endorphins. It releases sweat, it releases toxins, chemicals. It creates that positive, exciting mood so that you're ready to go when people are around and you're not coming in all, sad, down and out. And that was me a lot of times. I'd get into the store. I knew I was going to work a 12-hour day. And I was just like furious, mad, not happy, frustrated. And I would take that out on you, took that out on Angela a lot, which is to my dismay, right? That's some of the challenge of working with your spouse in the business, is a lot of times you don't mean to, but you know they can take it because they're never going to leave you, right? Because you're married. And so, yeah, so that's like tangible. Like I remember specifically, number one, I remember losing weight because I wasn't eating healthy.
Well, you were hardly eating.
I was hardly eating. I was just working all the time. I didn't have time.
And that was our excuse too. Was like, well, we are getting a workout, and we were getting in more steps than
we were probably
ever
getting 30,000 steps in a day.
Yeah, we were
Wish I had a
getting
tracker back then.
So many steps, and we were lifting things. So there was an aspect to it that was like, we're working out.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, it actually plays into your mental health more than you realize.
Yeah.
And that's another aspect that I think we were missing out on when we weren't taking the time to work out.
Yeah, and just clear our mind, get some clear head space.
Yep.
So that moves kind of into the mental space as well. But I do feel that the mental space is more of, it's an inner battle of, are you going to choose to be mentally unhealthy, or are you going to choose to be mentally healthy? And for us, that comes from a spiritual aspect of...
A lot of it does.
Yeah.
I think there is something to be said about mental health. We have not experienced that, so we don't fully understand all of it. But from what we have done and the things that we can control, we found that there's aspects of it that can be affected by healthy eating, exercising, and then your spiritual life.
Right. Less anxiety, less stress, all these different things. But I would say, going back to the Crumble when we first opened, my excuse was I didn't have the time, and like you said, we were working out, right? While we were at work, lifting 50-pound bags of flour and sugar and blah blah blah, and getting all our steps in. But we weren't eating healthy. We weren't eating right. We were hardly eating in general. I think I probably lost 20 pounds. I was probably I think I was like 175 when we first opened. I was like 156, 157.
You got pretty low.
I was tiny. Now I'm 175, a little muscle. But that's different. So now we've adapted and changed. Angela loves my muscles now, by the way. We've adapted and changed our lifestyle, but that took a lot of time.
Yep.
And I think the mental shift for me, the mindset shift for me, came when I think we had 5 stores open. Actually, no, it was 2022, I think, when you got me the ring. I wasn't sleeping super good. I don't know. There was just a lot of different factors. And so I think it was 2022. We both were talking. We were still like semi-active, going to the gym a little bit, eating a little bit better. But I wanted to get my sleep going. And sleep, I'll tell you, I've done some reading. I've done some podcasts, a lot of podcasts on sleep. Sleep is like the fountain of youth. If there's one thing you could try to do to change quickly, to get healthier faster, is get the right amount of sleep. And so when I started down this train, Angela obviously was taking note and notice, and she got me the Oura ring, which I love. I wear it as my wedding ring now. But it tracks my sleep, it tracks my steps, it tracks my heart rate, my HRV, and all those different things. And I've started getting better at that sleep. But I think that, maybe you disagree, but I think that was the timing that we really mainly started focusing more on, hey, we actually do have the time. So let's make it a priority for each other.
Yep, for sure.
Around 2022. But the other factor, I think maybe the vein factor, is, and this actually was more in 2023 when we started working with or 2024. When did we start working with Joe? 24? Beginning of this year.
Beginning of this year.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
February?
Yeah, April or March. So that was 2022, 2023. We just started to maintain, be active more, actually make time for the gym, work out. I was doing some fitness app programs. You were doing some app programs. But to move into the next level, we're like, okay, we need to get a coach. We need to get somebody that's going to help us get us to the right, the right area. And so through a sister-in-law of a friend, we met Joe Walks. A little shout out to Joe Walks, who's awesome.
Incredible.
But he's our fitness coach, and I mean, he's changed, I think, the way I look at fitness. He's changed the way I look at eating. He's changed the way I look at a lot of different things.
Yep.
One of my goals was to get blood tested to find out where my testosterone levels are at and how, like, what is my blood actually telling me for health?
Right.
And got that done, which was awesome. But I think that really changed. And so the reason I said vain is, for me, I want to remain really attractive for my wife. Like, I want to, and we did a little reel the other day that Angela said about Dan and Shay.
Yeah.
Which was funny. Yeah, you have to check it. It was way back, probably by the time this airs. It was way back on the Instagram. But I want to remain really attractive for Angela. Like, if we're at the beach or we're at the pool in the backyard and the shirt comes off, I want her to be looking at me like, wow, like I get to hang out with this guy. And I think it's the same both directions, but there should be that pursuit of, like, I want to keep my body as a temple, right? And I want it to be the best looking temple around so that my wife sees me as an attractive male and wants to continue to pursue me. And I think vice versa, right?
Yes, absolutely. All of that. Yes.
And okay.
Yes.
She doesn't want to dive too deep.
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that it's important to stay attractive, but there was a couple things that you said that I want to go back on a little bit. I think it's overwhelming for people to start thinking about working out because you don't know, number one, where to start. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to eat. You don't have time to go to the gym. You don't have money to go to the gym. There's like a lot of different blocks that we put in our own way, I think. So for us, what worked in a certain season is different now. You got to be able to adjust. So when we had a newborn baby, a younger baby, I was working out in the basement. We got a bike, which I know you can buy used now, but we got a bike, we got weights, we got resistance bands, and that honestly is enough to be doing something. So she would be napping, I would go down to the gym to work out. So I just think you have to take away all excuses. The other thing I will say is hire the professional. But
you were a little. I was a little hesitant. I don't know if I want to spend that money.
Well, it's commitment, right? You're now committing to something and saying, okay, I'm going to put in the energy, the effort, the time, and the money to make this a priority. And so I think for me, I was a little bit scared or like taken back on like, I don't know if I actually want to commit to this. But I'm here to tell you 6 months later, 5 months later, it's worth it. Hire somebody that knows, especially if you're one of those people like me who, now that my daughter's older, I can take her to the gym if I choose and she can go into childcare. But now I would get into the gym and be like, well, what do I do? I know how to work out. I know how to lift. I actually really enjoy lifting. But it was like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'll just jump on the treadmill for an hour. Well, that's not really enjoyable for anybody. And it wasn't really doing much for me. So to hire him, and then he also was helping me with what I should be eating, what my body actually needs for nutrients. And I think that's a really key component.
As opposed to what we think
we need. Yeah. We have no idea. All of our bodies are different. So hire the professional and take away the excuses. If it's really something that you want to do, I think there's a lot of ways to make it happen, even within your own home.
Yeah, one of the big things with him was we went on that vacation with your family. We were out in the middle of nowhere, no gym, no access. I'm like, crap, what are we going to do for a week? How are we going to stay pumped? How are we going to get a good workout in?
Right, or just not feel like you're going to lose track of where you're at.
Where you went, yeah, go backwards. And we're like, dude, what do we do? Here's what we got. The day later, he sent us 3 or 4 workouts with resistance bands. Resistance bands, $20-$30 off Amazon. Yeah. And we were getting a good pump in.
Whole workout.
We're getting a really good pump in.
So that's what I mean. Like, there's not really, and that's what he does.
Takes your excuses away. He just takes your excuses away, crushes them.
So if you're not ready for excuses to be taken away, don't hire
Maybe
a professional.
Maybe it's not the right time.
But,
yeah.
Anyways, those were 2 things I was thinking about as you were talking. I just think there's seasons, and don't get me wrong, there's been seasons where it's like, I don't know if we can do this, but if it's a priority, you'll make it happen.
And absolutely. So back to like pursuing each other. I think when you feel good
Yes.
and you look good,
You feel like you look good.
and you feel like you look good, and everybody's looking good is different.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
And so you got to figure out what that is for you.
And your spouse.
Set a goal. Set it together. We
Yeah.
did this together. Set aside the time, and don't make money an excuse. Right? Cancel the Netflix subscription. Get off the couch. Cancel the Hulu subscription. Cancel the gym subscription that you're not using. Find out what you actually should be doing. Work out at home or work out somewhere else. Go to Planet Fitness. $10 a month.
There's your Hulu.
Don't make money an excuse to not get healthy, fit, and pursue your wife or your husband, because there is no excuse, right? And I made that excuse for a long time. I'm done making that excuse. I'm coming off a little sickness right now,
Yeah.
but still been working out. Just maybe not as hard or as intense, but so important to be making sure that we continue to stay healthy and fit, not just for ourselves, but now obviously for Lila and for the future. So I would say for the marriage, that's super, super important. Let's kind of transition again back into the business a little bit.
Yeah.
What are your kind of thoughts on that? I know I talked briefly about the energy, the attitude in there, but I mean, Jeff, who's our partner, and my brother, he's a fitness freak. He's always working out and trying to get a good workout in. We've got some of our managers that do that too. How does that help the business move forward? How does that help the team? What do you kind of see with that stuff?
Again, I think it's more of a lifestyle thing. When you're living a healthy lifestyle, typically I also feel like there's like a leadership quality that comes out in that. And so I just see, like in both you and Jeff, but there's a like a dedication to working out, right?
Discipline.
A discipline to working out. There's just aspects of like you're refining so many different parts of your life without even realizing it, and then those pieces that have been refined are now playing into the business. So I feel like it's kind of working on your leadership qualities. By being dedicated, by being disciplined, by training, by stretching yourself, those things prepare you to be a better business owner.
And leader, yeah.
And leader, yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the tangible ones. I think it gives you more clarity to make better decisions. You set aside that specific time. For me, it's a morning, right? Once the day starts, once the normal work day starts, I can't get a workout in, so it's typically early morning where it's quiet, things aren't, bothering you, your emails aren't dinging, your texts aren't going off. But I think it creates that clarity for you when you do get into the business, you do get into the store, you do get into your meetings of like, yeah, I'm jazzed up, I'm pumped up, I've got the adrenaline rushing, I've got the endorphins going, I'm ready to crush the day.
Yep.
There's actually a lot of business people, so I think of like Andy Elliott, Dan Martell, Patrick McDavid, and a bunch of other guys. Like if they are going to do calls with just random people, like want some of their time, they tell them they got to come work out with them. That's where they work out. That Dan Martell, he's like, yeah, if you want my time, like I'm gonna be hiking this day. Fly into town, come on a hike with me. That's when I'm gonna be doing it. So I love that aspect too of like, come work out with us. Come work out with us. Let's work out together. We can talk. We can build camaraderie that way. But I do like what you said about discipline. It is a discipline.
It is, right. And
It takes a conscious, it takes a conscious effort to get up every day at whatever time. It reminds me of when you were teaching and I was doing full-time Primerica, full-time financial advising. How early were we getting up at that? We were at the apartment. 4:30 a.m. Did you guys hear that? Now, Angela is not a morning person.
Never seen.
Why were you getting up so early?
Because I had to be to work by 7:30 and I wanted to get the gym in. So that was really the time that I had was in the morning, was to be there for a 5 a.m. class and or just work out. But 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. I could go home, shower, eat breakfast, and be to work by 7:30. Yeah. Because I just found that I was exhausted after work. I was making too many excuses. Oh, I gotta cook dinner. I gotta go get groceries. I got teacher meetings. I got whatever, the excuses just kept piling up towards the end of the day, which at the beginning of the day, you don't have nearly as much happening.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that's when we made it work.
Yeah, those were the days, the 4:45. Those were very early.
A little too early.
But we-
were not doing that. But in that season of life, that's what worked. And it was important to us, so we made it work.
And how important do you think that is? Like you mentioned seasons. I mean, how many different seasons have you had or have we had for fitness? And yeah.
Many, yeah. We've had our early mornings. We've had our at-homes during whatever time of the day I could fit it in. We've had our consistent gym going where we were really consistently going to the gym. I taught for a while.
Yep. Yeah, you were teaching.
I was
That's
a fitness
right.
instructor
At
for
Retro-
a very short
Retro
stint,
Fitness, yeah.
So there was like that season of life where I was working out and I was teaching.
Yeah.
So we've
Forgot
had
about that.
very different seasons for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. It's okay.
it
Like
looks
who
different.
knows what this next season, like we're learning a ton with Joe. He's teaching us all this stuff so that we can take this with us down the road.
Yeah.
And we don't have to have him be a coach forever. He'll be a friend forever for sure. Incredible guy. But once we learn these things, like what will the next season look like? I don't know. Steroids? No, probably not. No, probably we won't do that. No, for sure. So yeah, I mean, kind of maybe wrapping this up, I think it's important that you, and we failed at this early on, but we've been through many different seasons of health, of fitness, of mental fitness, of spiritual fitness. There's all these ups and downs.
Right.
But I feel like if you prioritize stuff and you think about that future goal of, I want to be with Lila, I want to walk her down the aisle when she gets married and our other kids, and I want to be around as a grandparent. I don't want to be decrepit, if you will, and people pushing me around.
Right. And it's not to say that we're in control of any of that, because we're not.
No.
Our day could be tomorrow. And so I think, again, it's that aspect of like, just because he is sovereign and he's in control doesn't mean that we don't take action of some sort. Like, we're still called to take care of what he's given us.
Yeah.
And he's given us our bodies. So to do what we can with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to realize too. Like, we hope and pray that we get that opportunity to see our grandkids, but that's also not guaranteed to us.
And if we do, I'm going to be fit. Be the fittest grandpa out there. And grandma.
That's right.
We're going to be running circles around those little pukes. So yeah, just wrapping that up. Important to be thinking about that. Take your excuses away. Everyone's at a different season of life. Do a 20-minute workout. I would say the biggest three things is have a plan.
Yeah.
So come up with some sort of a plan. Eat right. Find out how to eat right. And just move.
Right.
Just be active.
Walk.
Go walk. Go walk. If you can't hit the gym, because to be honest with me, I drive 15 minutes to the gym, and sometimes that's a pain to me. 15 minutes, I know that sounds like a short ride, that's wicked annoying, right? 5 minutes is more my style. But if that's a problem for you, go take a walk. Go do something that you can move, be active. You can do it with your spouse. You can do it with your husband. Do something to get active, because you will feel better. You'll have more clarity, no more brain fog. You won't be on the couch. You'll have more activity. Your energy will go up. Your kids will notice it. And we have a friend that's happening to right now. Like all those things are happening because they're getting their life moving and they're active. Yeah. So be thinking about that. But we love fitness. But who knows what the next season will look like?
Don't know.
Maybe the next time I'm on here, I'll be 400 pounds.
No.
Probably not. No, she won't allow that. So yeah, we love health and fitness. We hope you get some value from this. Subscribe. Send this to somebody that needs a little kick in the pants about fitness. Again, we're not perfect. We've been there. We've been slacking. We've made the excuses. We've done it all. But we're on a really good trajectory now. And the question is how disciplined are we going to be over the next decade or 2 decades, right? We've got to push each other. We've got to remain hot for each other.
Pursue your spouse.
Yeah. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.